Welcome to AM Best Audio.
As cyber risk continues to evolve, insurers are doing everything they can to keep up with the threat actors. I'm John Weber for Best Review Magazine, and I'm speaking today to Tim Nunziata, Vice President and Head of Cyberrisks Commercial E&O at Nationwide. Tim, so glad you could join us today.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
So, Tim, how is cyber risk evolving?
Yeah, well, advancements in technology obviously are rapidly expanding the threat landscape in cyber risk. The implementation of AI across a number of areas, both from the bad actor standpoint, but also the insured standpoint. Cyber risk, the technology components to cyber risk not only create more sophisticated bad actors and incidences, but also enable clients to have more sophisticated responses and prepared and controls in place to mitigate some of those. So the advancement of technology is accelerating not only the number of attacks that we're seeing, but the sophistication through more targeted phishing attacks and social engineering and ransomware incidences.
And how is the insurance industry keeping up with that evolution?
Yeah, we've been talking for years about how quickly cyber risk is evolving. In the grand scheme of things, it's a relatively immature line of coverage compared to many of the other financial and professional lines. We often said, we need more data and more information, and that's unfortunately for the carriers and insureds driven by claims. That increased claims activity over the last 3 years has provided insureds and insurance companies with an incredible amount of information to evaluate risk and exposure, to better mitigate those pre-breach, or to better implement pre-breach services to mitigate an incident, having a better understanding of how a bad actor can access an organization, limiting the number of unknowns that are out there. It's certainly been a challenge to stay ahead of the bad actor. But at the same time, when we think about the coverage enhancements, not only are we able to understand the incident and bad actor, but language that we have been implementing over the last few years in our insurance policies have been vetted through the court system. The idea of language and intent have been verified and understood. And so we're better prepared to provide coverage that is suitable to the threats that are evolving within the threat landscape.
Tim, are companies aware of the threats their business face as a result of today's cyber risk landscape?
Absolutely. I think when we look back, even 5-6 years ago, the idea of having that conversation in the boardroom in many instances was enough. That's clearly not the case. There's a fiduciary responsibility for organizations to be prepared for when a cyber incident happens and to put their organization in the best place to mitigate the fallout. So not only is the idea of organizational awareness more prevalent, the knowledge with which we can transfer to companies, to employees, to associates throughout all aspects of the process are expanded and have greater depth to them. So organizations now understand how to mitigate certain ransomware fallouts or certain malware issues.
So what are some best practices in the event of a breach?
Certainly. I think the idea of, reacting post-breach is naive. The understanding is that when that incident happens, that we need to flip a switch and start that process. So much of that legwork needs to happen prior to those incidents occurring. Have you identified an appropriate incident response plan? Are there disaster recovery plans in place? Are you working with your insurance carrier or broker or resources within the industry to test certain critical infrastructure and vulnerable systems? What do your backups look like? How can we continue to mitigate the fallout if and when that incident happens? So they're better, the idea of being able to put a plan in place post breach, is not realistic. The idea is have your breach coach in place, have your legal services there, have everyone know what the plan is, and then, and test that plan. We do fire drills so that if, God forbid, something happens, we're prepared to respond to it. It's similar from a cybersecurity standpoint. be prepared.
Tim, what makes Nationwide a leader in cyber protection coverage?
Yeah, I think what differentiates Nationwide is our ability to provide a full suite of network security, privacy, media, and ancillary errors and omissions products that provide your organization with the protection that can support your cybersecurity posture. That, coupled with the longstanding history of Nationwide's brand recognition and ability to service clients across a number of insurance lines, means that we're in this for the long haul, understanding that this is not an opportunistic play, rather an opportunity for us to create a longstanding solution for organizations.
Thanks for joining us today, Tim.
Thank you.
That was Tim Nunziata, Vice President and Head of Cyberrisks Commercial E&O at Nationwide. And I'm John Weber for Best Review Magazine.
Looking to get the full attention of the insurance industry? We have the platforms that will do just that. Whether it be AM Best TV, AM Best Audio, Best Review Magazine, or Best Day. Find out more by calling AM Best Advertising Sales at 908-439-2200, extension 5399, and have a great day.